What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In this video, we will be doing a before and after look at the exotic hunter boots Lucky Pants. Before the recent change, the perk read Precision hits load 1 round to the chamber of stowed hand cannons. Hand cannons ready faster and are more accurate immediately after swapping to them. In Bungie's Armor TWAB, they said they were changing these up slightly. They added intrinsic hand cannon holster mod, replaced previous functionality with the following. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass energy type, for a short time each hit against the combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. They also mentioned in a later tweet that this does not affect PvP. So let's take a look at the Lucky Pants before the buff. As we can see, when I swap to a fully loaded hand cannon, it does not deal any extra damage to these adds. I also tested it on a boss to see, and the results were the same. Now let's take a look at the Lucky Pants now that they have been updated. The exotic perk now states when you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or a damage type that matches your subclass energy type, each hit from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot for a short time against the combatant. Hand cannons ready faster and are more accurate immediately after swapping to them. So let us take a look at how this perk works now. So first, I swap to a hand cannon that is not fully loaded, and you can see I don't get any damage buff. I then reload my weapons and then swap to my kinetic hand cannon. This time, I shoot a shot that hits for base damage, but I then get a timer on the left saying damage boost, which lasts for 5 seconds. In this clip, I scale it up to 6, but it does go all the way up to 10, as we will get to. But once the damage boost timer runs out, it says out of luck, and this is a 9-second timer. I then swap to my fully loaded arc hand cannon, but because out of luck is active, I do not get the damage boost. I then swap hand cannons back and forth a couple of times, and I get the out of luck timer again, even though I didn't shoot. I wait for the timer to go away and then swap back to my kinetic, and once again I get the boost as soon as I do damage. I then swap to my kinetic and proc the buff again and do a ton of damage to the boss. I get up to 10 stacks of damage boost and I'm doing 23,147 damage to the head and 15,432 damage to the body. That is absolutely nuts. These exotics are a lot stronger than I thought they would be. Next, I just wanted to show the functionality of the energy hand cannons. First, I have the finite impactor on with an arc subclass, and when I swap to it and do damage, I get the damage buff. I then swap to a palindrome, but do not change my subclass, and as you can see, I do not get the damage perk. I then swap to Night Stalker. I proc the buff, but it does not show up on the side for some reason, but you can see from the damage numbers that the damage buff definitely is active. I'm able to proc 1 for all on top of this, and I get a headshot on a legionary for 32,247 damage. Sadly, I do not know how many stacks I had for sure, but given the number of shots, it looks like only 6 stacks. So these realistically could be really good in PvE for high-end content. They might make ad clear super easy. But anyways, this is how the exotics function. Now let's get into the fun stuff. The stuff you probably came here to see. How much damage can it really do? Well, again, you can see me nearly melt the Lost Sector boss with a 180 RPM hand cannon. So that is insane. But let us actually break down the numbers. For some reason, my game kept crashing in this Lost Sector, so this is the best footage I could get. Because of the boss's arc missiles, it is hard to see, but I will show the damage numbers on screen. Basically, every shot ramps up 60% more damage. So for body shot damage, I go from 2,205 all the way up to 15,432 damage. And then when I hit a crit, that is 23,147 damage, and the base crit is 3,307. Therefore, it scales the exact same. A crit at 10 stacks is 700% more damage than a crit at base. Same goes for the body shots. And it rises linearly. Every shot ramps up 60% more. So now that you know how the damage numbers scale, let's see how hard we can get some weapons to hit. The first gun I wanted to test was Malfeasance. If the exotic perk on this gun scaled in damage the same as the bullets, this would be OP. Sadly, as you can see, the blight damage does not increase from the damage boost of Lucky Pants. Darn. Next, I wanted to test Ariana's Vow, and to my delighted surprise, it actually works with these pants. Now, because this is a slow firing weapon, you cannot shoot quickly enough to get up to 10 stacks, but we get to a damage boost of 6 times and are able to hit for 56,281 damage with one bullet. That is insane, and we easily melt the Lost Sector boss without any unstable essence. Very powerful. Next, I wanted to test the Last Word. This has really good DPS, but because you have to reload in between, it hurts its damage a little bit. Regardless, it can melt the nightmares in the Lost Sector, and it can take a big chunk out of the Lost Sector boss. Next, I tested out Crimson, and it too can really chunk the boss. And finally, we have the weapon everyone probably wanted to see, which is Hawkmoon. Sadly, as I mentioned earlier, my game kept crashing in this Lost Sector, so I had to go to Cali in the Last Wish raid to test out Hawkmoon. I proc a Paracausal ×7 shot and have the damage boost at ×9, and we get a shot for 54,656 damage. This is extremely hard to get in game, as you would have to hit basically all crits and do so at max rate of fire, otherwise you won't get your Paracausal shot off while you have the damage boost. So I don't know how practical this is, but it is pretty neat to see that much damage from a primary. Sadly, I cannot compare apples to apples on the Lost Sector boss thanks to my game crashing, but I hope that helps nonetheless. Bungie, please, I beg you, bring back the Tribute Hall and make my life easy. Anyways, that is it for this exotic in PvE. It is a lot stronger than I thought it would be, and I can't wait to try it out in some harder content. Lastly, I hopped into a private match just to prove it doesn't work in PvP, and that footage is in the background. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, then a like would be greatly appreciated. And feel free to subscribe to see more content like this, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. I'll be cranking out before and after footage of all the exotic armor changes, so be on the lookout for those. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching.